Good morning and welcome to our Facebook Live this morning. My name's Jenny McCormack, and if you haven't come across me before and this is the first time you've caught up with me, a warm welcome to you. I am an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator and I'm based in the market town of Brackley, which is in Northamptonshire in the centre of the UK. Thank you for joining me this morning. If you caught us yesterday or have caught this one previously, these were the two simple and quick cards that I made yesterday. These feature two of the stamps plus a sentiment from the Country Bouquet stamp set. This is a new stamp set that just been released last week. And it has coordinating papers, ribbon, a punch and some additional embellishments. So these were the two cards I made using the little heart shaped with the flowers and the leaves, and it's just two stamps and you can see where to put one over the other, so it's quite a simple setup. Morning Wendy, Happy New Year to you. Lovely to see you. Or have you joined us, I should say, because I can't see you. You can see me though, hopefully. So we created these yesterday and these are just under 10 centimetres square, 99 millimetres or 9.9 centimetres square, which means you can get 3 from a single A4 sheet here in the UK. So I'm going to do something slightly different today. I'm going to introduce you to the papers and the punch. So I did show these briefly yesterday. This is the punch and it punches out excuse me, 2 hearts and 2 leaves. These coordinate with these hearts and the leaves here, and it also matches one of the sheets of paper, this one here, hi Jeanette, which has this same design on, so it's all designed to fit, and the reverse of this has got stripes on. So what I'm going to do is use some of these hearts from across the bottom, and I'm also going to punch some hearts from the paper and do some stamping. And it's a very traditional layout that I've done many times in the past, but I haven't done it recently and I thought this is perfect for this design. The colours in these pieces of papers are Sweet Sorbet, Mint Macaron and Mossy Meadow. In the rest of the papers there's a combination of Petal Pink and Balmy Blue, and this is a really pretty set of papers. If you like florals, and a lot of them are small hearts so they're not too obvious. This one here obviously has got hearts in that smaller design. So great for Valentine's, but great for spring cards and ideas. You can find all of these items in our new catalogue on pages 8, 9, 10 and 11. And if you haven't received your catalogue yet and you are a customer of mine, then they'll be on their way. Excuse me. If you had a class in a box, they would have been in there. And I'm working my way around. Oh, excuse me, I've gone croaky. Everybody else, sorry. So, hi Kerry. Good evening to you in Australia. So this is the layers that I'm going to use. I've got a basic white card. I've got a Sweet Sorbet layer. This measures 10 by 14.35, and then I've got a thin basic white layer which is 9.5 by 13.85. So it just gives me a small border all the way around. And what I am going to do is just punch a couple of hearts and leaves from here so that I can either use them on this card or on another one. So I'm just making sure they're fairly close, but not too close to the edge. Okay, because our layer is going to go on the top. Okay. Let's also punch out some from this lovely paper here. As I say, this has got the stripes on the background, and I'm just going to use these ones across the bottom. I'm not worried about using that smaller heart. So that in there, don't need that one. And I just remembered after our live yesterday, when I was scraping the ink pad, that my bone folder has still got ink on it, so remind me not to use that until I've cleaned it. Okay, so I'm just going to use a few of those. I may not use all of these in this particular card, but I love the way they've added the coordination again with the papers and the other elements. And then this has got little hearts on it. It's got the blue on the back, the balmy blue and mint macaron. And I'm just going to punch. Probably won't need all of these anyway, so just add that into the mix. Okay, so that's my punching done. So what I'm going to do for this card is I'm going to do a line of hearts that I stamp, and then I'm going to add these ones in as a layer on top, so sort of create a 3D effect. So I've got my block here. Now this has got an open heart that coordinates with this one. It has a couple of small hearts, and it's got this one here that matches the punch. Now what you'd have to be careful of is, because this matches the punch, I don't know if you can see that or not. Yeah, you can. These two hearts are stacked together. I know. You can't win, can you? But there are some other stripes, and you do get 2 sheets at least. But yes, I know what you mean. So these two are stacked together so that they coordinate with the heart punch itself. So you can stamp and then punch this out. And in the same way, you've got the leaves. I just pick these up like so. So you can stamp, what I do like is you can stamp the leaves separately, so you can just have a thin strip of paper or card for your leaves. But because I'm doing a little line across here, what I don't want, although actually I could get away with it on here, because I'm going to have my hearts going across, but so what I'm actually going to do is cut this stamp. Now I know a lot of people don't like to do that, and that's absolutely fine, but I like to make my stamps work for me. So I'm just going to cut it between the two hearts, but I'm not going to tidy up. I'm going to leave it like that, so that what I can do is just literally pop it back on the block, just put those layers back together, and then I can still stamp and punch. Hi Catherine, don't worry, I've not long started. I did have to move the kitten off my chair again. So that's what I do like to do, and because these are photopolymer they tend to stick back together anyway, but I do the same with red rubber. Oh good, Wendy, I like it too. I like it too. Make them work for you. You know, at the end of the day, they're just stamps. Don't get too precious over them. Okay, so now it means I've got 2 separate ones that I can use, and I've also got the open one that I can use. Actually, I'm going to leave it back on here so I don't lose it. And I've got the little tiny little hearts together. Just put that there because I don't want to lose them before I've even started. So let's grab a block. So what I'm going to do is just have an imaginary line across the centre. You could draw a pencil line if you wanted to, if you're not particularly confident. Oh, Carrie, you need to. You definitely need to. But just my recommendation is cut it straight so that you can put them back together again. Don't tidy the edges. So, you know, I've got this raw edge here. It's out of the way. It won't affect your stamping, but it'll just make it better. So let's just do, I'm just going to do a couple, and then I'm going to layer some on top and then see how that looks. So I've got Sweet Sorbet here right in front of me, and I'm using that to coordinate with the papers. Now I've not used this stamp before, so I'm just going to grab a piece of grid paper, and I'm also going to pop my mat underneath because it's photopolymer, just to give it a little bit extra cushioning. I think I've got everything all over the place today, but we have some nice sunny weather. Not sure how long it will last because yesterday was miserable nearly all day long. Okay, so here is our stripy heart. And as with any stamp, you want to sort of condition it. So you want to stamp it out a few times. Now what I like about this is it's got this natural shading built into the stamp. So don't think you haven't stamped it properly. If you're worried whether you have or you haven't, always look at the impression that's on the box, and that will show you whether it's, you know, shaded or not. But I just think that's really, really sweet. Yes, often with sentiments, if you don't like part of it. Yeah, I do the same, Catherine. Okay, so that's really cute. Let's just do this little one as well. This will make, I mean, hearts very traditionally, obviously Valentine's, but will make nice wedding cards, thank you cards as well, and just a card to cheer somebody up. Okay, so I'm happy with that, how that's stamping. We've got a boat and some birds today. So I've got this under here as well because I'm going to go off the page, and I don't want to ink up this too much because I have a habit then of putting my card down and it makes a bit of a mess to your card. Oh, bless you, Wendy. It was yeah, it was just miserable, dull rain yesterday here, and nice and so far bright and blue skies. Who knows? So I'm just going to put three of these. Like so. This would make a great one sheet wonder as well, where you stamp over the sheet and then cut it up. Definitely. Okay, so I've got that one there, and then I've got this little one. So what I'm going to do is just sort of attach them slightly, have them close at hand. Let's bring this one down here. So I'm just imagining this line in the middle, and I don't know whether to add leaves or not. Let's have a look. So we've got this is the one that's come from the paper, and look how similar that is. It's almost identical, isn't it? So that's the one from the paper, and this is the one that I've stamped. So I could use the reverse sides. I've got my little hearts from the papers. Oh my goodness, bless you, Catherine. That's no good, is it? Let's see, we've got these little red ones that I just punched out, and these ones here, and also I've got the plain red from the card. Now I'm just wondering whether to add some leaves in stamped or whether that looks strange. What do you think? Because they're obviously not flowers. The layout was designed to look almost like a flower with this and this element here. So I'm going to add a few more stamps, but I think I'm going to use the outline one, which I put back here. And let's just try it on here. There we go. Like so. Like that. So I've got this imaginary line going across here. And then I do have those tiny little ones. I've got some solid ones and here, so we've got these solid ones and then little open ones. So just swap that over. And I think what I'm going to do is stamp these off so that they're lighter, like that. Go. Okay, let me just lift that up so you can see that. Hopefully you can see that okay. So should I add leaves? Do we think that might be strange? Maybe I should just stick with hearts. And let's add some punched out ones. So that obviously is a match for that because it comes from the punch. Just feels a little bit big, doesn't it? Some of these. No, yeah, I think you're right. Could use this one with the stripes in a different direction. Let's going to have a look at what I might do. Is I'm going to use this piece here. It's got petal pink on the back, but I'm going to punch the smaller heart out of that little pattern because it's a tiny little pattern. Wendy says she's going to stick with hearts. Right, let's just see. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a strip of this so I don't waste it. And can you see, I'm just going to punch that small heart out of that pattern paper. But if I punch it there, I'm going to be wasting the other pieces behind. So all I'm going to do is just cut a piece like that, and then I can punch that one, and that one. Okay, so now I've got some pretty hearts. It just feels a bit heavy with those. That's better. So that's the other, that's that stripy one. That's better. So I'm going to pop these up on dimensionals. And I just really want to sort of interconnect them as much as anything. That's a bit lost up there. There we go. Okay, that's getting there. I think once it's up on dimensionals it will look better, because obviously that is just flat at the minute. And what's on the other side of that one? Okay. I'm going to pop those up on dimensionals and then decide. Before I do that, I'm going to stamp a sentiment along here, just so that I can put hearts around it if I need to. Good morning, Lynn. I've no doubt you're working, but welcome and thanks for joining us. Okay, right, sentiment, that's what I was looking for. So I think, I love that we are friends would fit in there nicely. Obviously, happy Valentine's Day. Just wanted to say, oh, let's do that. Just wanted to say, and then I love that we are friends on the inside. There we go. Because a longer, thin sentiment always looks good against that piece there. So just wanted to say, just trying it on my paper to start with. Yep, happy with that. Let's move that out of the way. There we go. Perfect. And then let's pop those up on dimensionals and see where we are. So I'm going to leave them roughly in place and then just tuck some behind, and let's see what we look like. Okay. And you could do a combination of some flat and some lifted up on dimensionals. That one. I just feel I've got too many of that design. Okay. Let's just trim this down. Sorry if that's just slightly off screen. There we go. Right. And obviously you could do this with any shape and any combination of stamps and pattern papers. So if you've got a flower design, for example, it would work with that. I'm just going to put that there. There we go. So flowers, it could be any objects really. Musical instruments, if you've got a stamp with musical instruments on. And in the new catalogue there is a fabulous new musical set with drums and musical staves and stuff. I'm going to put that one there, that one there. There we I thought you'd be watching them while you're working. I don't know whether you have my sound on or whether you're just watching me in the background. But welcome anyway, Lynn. Okay, there we are. So this, let's just tuck that away for the minute. This is going to go onto my sweet sorbet layer, and then that's going to be matted onto there. And then I'll add my other sentiment on the inside with a couple of hearts. So let's do that now. I've got, oh, sound is on quietly. Good. I love that we are friends. Oh, she says getting ink everywhere. Okay. Let's just pop this back. Just stamping on there because it's the first time I've inked that Stamp Up. And then I definitely want the two little hearts at the side of that. There we go. Like that. Let me bring that up to the top so you can see that, hopefully. Okay, let's clear that away. And then we're going to put these layers down. So I'm going to pop this one on first, and I'm just going to obviously ignore the bit in the middle and put my wet glue around the edges. Now it is a nice strong glue, so you don't have to go mad. You don't want any height of glue, otherwise it will just squish and seep out, and it can, if you've got paper underneath, it can sort of wrinkle the paper. So just keep a light touch. So centralise that. Hi Baz. Thanks Jeanette. Happy New Year to you, Baz. So this is our layer that's going to go on top of there. And I could have put a little heart actually inside of there if I wanted to. So let's just add glue to the outside of that. Hi Patricia. Thank you for joining us, if you've got your sound on, that is. Okay. So there is our card. I am just going to put, I think, oh, it's dangerous actually, because this is up on dimensionals now and it might not reach down, so I'm not going to risk it, although I could use a small block if I've just got one to hand. Got a tiny block, it might work. So yeah, if I can put that block in there without getting in the way of my items on dimensionals. Okay, so I've got that set of 2 hearts. Let's just bring this back. Oh yes, it would. Heart-shaped embellishments would be nice. I was just thinking, what embellishments have I got that would work in there? There we go. That just fills that little gap. And obviously you could, you know, pop this in afterwards and add those bits and pieces. Oh, bless you. 4:30. What are you doing up at this time, Patricia? Goodness me. Right, let's have a look at our embellishments. I'm pretty sure I've got some sweet sorbet embellishments. Oh, bless you. That's so sweet of you, thank you. Right, just need to find my embellishment pack, which has done a runner. And I only had it here yesterday evening. Okay, let me look for my other one. Here we go. And if I can't see anything just now, so I've got these ones that came from the Christmas catalogue, which has got a little red dot. This is actually Sweet Sorbet, these fine sparkle adhesive back gems. They've actually just retired, but that is the same, although it looks quite light against that. Got butterflies. Hearts would have been lovely, wouldn't they? And this is Sweet Sorbet, but I'd only use the little ones, and on this sheet here I've only got large ones. So I think I'm just going to dot a couple of those in. I know obviously we've got the red rhinestones as well, or I could use just some plain. But let's just find my pokey tool, just add a couple of these in. I could just use some silver ones as well, but two and three. There we go. All done. So let me see. I know the feeling, Patricia. I'm exactly the same. If I wake up in the night, I usually start watching the Australian ladies because they're in their morning sessions. Okay, so this says, just wanted to say, I love that we are friends. There we go. And then these were the ones that I created quickly yesterday. So very sweet indeed. So this used the punch and some of the papers. I didn't use much of the papers in the end, and in fact the design that I punched from the papers I used on the reverse. But yeah, there we go. So that's a brand new stamp set, new punch, new papers, and coordinating embellishments, ribbons and the like. So that's Country Bouquet is the name of the stamp set. There it is there. Oops, try and get out of the reflection. So I managed to do it without my large light on because it's so bright at the minute. So thank you for joining me today. Now I will be back tomorrow in the evening, but I really want to do a run through of the new catalogue, so I'm thinking I might do that at 11 AM tomorrow. It's nicer to do it in daylight because you don't have the reflection of the lights on the papers. So I will post that. I hope you're able to join me, and if not, you can watch it obviously on catch up. So that will be 11 AM tomorrow, Thursday, the let me see, 12th of January. I have to think about that. So thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to crafting with you again really soon. Do take care, look after yourselves and your loved ones, and I hope you can keep crafting. Thanks for joining me today. Bye for now.